Greetings. My name is Jeff Long. Welcome back to a very special episode of the Death, Taxes, and Sports podcast. We're excited to bring you an epic one-year anniversary show, episode 71. We have an excellent lineup of guests here tonight, and we first have to introduce our fellow people, David Bierman, Deputy Director of Sports Betting ESPN, and Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports herself, guys. Look at us. We must be doing something big. And of course, I have my and thanks again, guys, for joining. And we have my two esteemed co-hosts from the Johnson Wales University, Mr. Gary the Legend Johnson and Ben Holloway. How are you guys doing?
Can't complain. I can't believe we made it a year, but I'm extremely proud, extremely happy to have been on this journey with you guys and looking forward to the next year.
No doubt. It's good to have two of my best friends. Anyway. So tonight, we're going to be reflecting on our journey over this past year. We're going to be discussing our favorite NFL teams and as well as NBA storylines for the rest of the season. And we're also going to be having a new segment for the end. Mr. Gary Johnson's going to be having a nice little special treat for us. You ready, Gary?
Yeah, sure.
Gary's Gripes, guys. Gary's Gripes. We're going to get that going. So first topic, Ben, my friend, talk to us. What has this past year meant as far as just this overall journey? Talk to me.
Yeah, it's as you have said, you've been wanting to do this for a long time and just kind of never, for whatever reason, weren't able to fully put it together. You came to me, you came to Gary, and it's been a blast. We've had fun. We've argued a lot. No, I'm just kidding. we've had a lot of fun. Talked a lot of different sports. Excited to possibly bring on some, hockey podcasts to talk some hockey since we're not experts there. So that's going to be fun. Just really going along, on the journey with you guys. I think just, learning, adapting, communication is key. And, it's been a fun ride, and that sounds like it's over. It's definitely not over. So the ride isn't over. It's going to keep on going. We're just trying to get better, and have guests on. Like we have two fantastic guests on tonight. And, the ride's far from over.
No doubt. And we were talking the pre-show, David and Gary. We talked about how our very first episode was absolute crap, because I had no idea what I was doing with podcasting, having to figure out the different systems, even just figuring out what mic to get off of Amazon. And to just even be here and to have you guys on is just a testament to just the hard work that we've all put into this. And I'm excited for year two. Year one was really just about learning, just getting the basics down, getting the foundation. I've always kind of see this as a 3 to 5 year plan, just to, be realistic and being practical, right? Because, Rachel and David, you guys have been in the industry for a very long time, and we greatly respect that. So we're trying to be like you guys. So, Gary, my friend, talk to me, buddy. What has this last year meant?
It's been all right.
You sold that one.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of excitement, just a little bit. Give us something. I know.
All seriousness, I went back yesterday and listened to our first episode, and holy shit, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
That it was a brutal first episode, but to know where we were then to where we are and now, and like we're still growing, and Jeff, you mentioned it. For me, on my end, I've tried to do a sports podcast a number of times in the last few years, and it's just kind of fizzled out. And, I'll admit I was a little skeptical at first of, how we were going to work out. We hadn't really been in constant contact with one another over the last few years and everything. But, we found ourselves through a passion and our love of sports. And, we have these great conversations. We have these great guests, and it's all about something that the three of us have such a love for. And, I could not be any prouder to be a part of anything like this. And like I said, and I said in the intro, here's to the next year. Like there's a lot more growth, and we're just getting started.
No doubt. And kind of before we finish, and it's always just good to be able to do it with two of my good friends that I've known. Gary, I've known you since 2007 freshman year in sports management at David Morris's class, and been knowing you since 2010 back in the good old clubbing days, man, of Providence, Rhode Island. Good time.
Not only did we go to the same school, Johnson Wales University, the same major. all of us the same major.
All the same major. So it's good. And we have another announcement. As many as said before, we also are excited to bring on another young lady, very talented. This is her first show as an official co-host to our show, Miss Marissa Tigney herself, everybody. Gotta give you a round of applause. Thank you again for coming on. Glad to have you on. Did you want to say a few words to the group before we get this thing rocking and rolling?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I just want to again thank you, SK and Ben, for the invitation. That means a lot to me. I have watched you guys' podcast for a little bit now, and even before I was a guest on when we did the Super Bowl recap. And I'm excited of what's to come. And 1 year anniversary is absolutely amazing. Not many podcasts hit that 1 year peak, but you all have something special here, and to invite me on is absolutely amazing. So I'm honored to be here and to chat up with everybody about sports, and it's going to be an epic ride. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Hey Jeff, real quick, just wanted to shout out Dave real quick, Dave Behrman. He was with us on episode 50.
Oh, wow,
our milestone there, and now this milestone. So I guess for 2 years we'll have to have you on as well.
Sure.
Yes.
Every 50 episodes, I'll be on.
Let's get this thing cracking. Again, we got a nice full house here. We're going to make sure everyone gets some time in to discuss. So let's get right to it, man. This first thing, NFL teams, one wish for the offseason. It could be anything, coaches, players, trades, etc. Just one wish for all of our NFL teams. And Rachel, I'm going to give it to you first. What is one wish that you have for your beloved NFL team? And who is your NFL team too?
The Cleveland Browns. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, so it's going to be the Browns. I think America's lovable losers. So I think America should love us and want us to prosper. So today we just got rid of our special teams coach. We got rid of our defensive coordinators. So my wish would be for them to get coaches in there that can actually coach and be able to guide this young team. We made a playoff appearance in 2020 and we've regressed since. So hopefully we can get some coaches in here who know what they're doing and can actually have this team prosper.
Hey, let's see what happens with Deshaun Watson too. That's going to be very, very interesting. That's going to be very interesting to see. But awesome. Marissa, off to you. What is one wish of yours? I'm really curious to see what you wish for your squad. There's a lot of promise there.
There is a lot of promise. I want our team to pick up where we left off. We had a winning season, even though we didn't make the postseason, but it felt good to have that last run with Marissa, the wins that we were having.
The rest of the people listening don't know your team. State your team.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The Detroit Lions. First of all,
proud.
There we go.
Proud. One pride, baby. Very excited on what promising of what Dan Campbell's going to do with this squad. I mean, we did lose Coach Deuce Staley. He moved on to bigger and better things, but I just see so much potential in this team. I'm excited to see who they're going to bring on as added pieces in this combine, not the combine, but the draft coming up. And I mean, I want it to be, even though it's February, I mean, I'm pumped. I'm ready for fall to be here already, just for the sheer fact of, can we continue to ride this train of improvement that we're on? I think that Detroit Lions fans, literally, we don't have to hold our breath and clench our fists and see if we're actually going to have a win. This team is starting to show promise with the young pieces that we have in there, and Malcolm Rodriguez and Aiden Hutchinson. I'm just looking forward to what is going to happen this season coming up. So I'm thrilled of the promise. And I've already put my tweet out there and I told people to book it, pin it, post it, like Pinterest sports. The Detroit Lions will be in the postseason.
Okay.
And Marissa, right. I know you guys didn't make the playoffs, but man, you had to be so excited to knock out Aaron Rodgers.
Doggone right.
That had to be so exciting for you, even though you missed the playoffs.
He's in the darkness right now, trying to contemplate. He's in the darkness and trying to contemplate what he's going to do next. And my thing is, I don't think he comes back to the Green Bay Packers. He moves on from there.
And he's going to New York. He's going to the Jets. He's not going to the Raiders. We're not
Vegas. He's going to Vegas, baby.
No,
he's going to Vegas, baby.
Hey, listen, Aaron Rodgers does not deserve this airtime. Okay, he gets enough of it. He gets enough of it as it is.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. He's talked about every single day. We don't need to go there.
All
And
right,
by the way,
gotcha.
he's made one Super Bowl, and that was in 2010.
Yep.
And that's the
Does
only
it
one he's
matter?
gonna get.
Does it matter where he goes? Okay, moving along.
Yeah, exactly. David,
Ben?
Mr. David, sir, talk to me.
I'm gonna come do the podcast from over here, so you guys know who my team is.
Down.
As the first person to speak from a current playoff team, sorry, no disrespect.
we're coming
It's
along.
actually the Browns and Lions are what makes me at least survive the last 20 years as a Dolphin fan.
You're
My
welcome.
wish came true already. I wanted Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator, and we got Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator. So that'd be my one big wish. It came true. If I had another one, I'd say we need to figure out the running back position. Every single running back in our backfield is a free agent. So as of February 21st, the Dolphins currently have nobody in the backfield. I have a feeling they will re-sign either Mostert and or Jeff Wilson. Both of them have played for McDaniel before. He traded for both of them. I think they're both free agents. They both might come back. I think the little Thunder and Lightning worked well last year, and I wouldn't mind them back. And quite frankly, my number one wish, really, if you gave me one little genie to rub, it would be that Tua stays healthy. That's really all I need.
Tua stays healthy. Yep.
Right.
I tell
It's
you,
not
the win will blow.
necessarily an off-season position or a coach or a player. If Tua is healthy, the Dolphins are a Super Bowl contender, and if Tua is healthy, his family's healthy. So let's just let the guy do what he needs to do as an NFL player and as a dad and as a brother and as an uncle and as a nephew and as everybody, and let him stay healthy. Let him not get any more brain issues, and let's see what the Miami Dolphins can do, returning a playoff team, but with a healthy quarterback.
There you go. And I will say, David, that if the wind could blow, he'll get a concussion.
Yeah.
Like the wind will blow, he'll get a concussion. It's like,
come on, man.
I'm just saying, the wind will blow.
Need to do that.
Concussed.
You ain't need to do that.
Listen,
That would be, I mean, there's no hole that the Dolphins have that's bigger than a healthy quarterback. So you could go get them every good defensive player. You go throw Barry Sanders back there, whatever you need to do. If Tua is not healthy, they're not going anywhere. So you need a healthy Tua. You got a strong coaching staff. You got strong players and Hill and Waddle, and you got an offensive line that's returning some good studs. And, you know, the record speaks for itself. The Dolphins made the playoffs, and Tua only lost 2 games all of last year. And they almost knocked off the Buffalo Bills with a third-string quarterback. So we'll see what happens.
there you go. Hey, Gary.
As a fan of the New York Football Giants, so David, there's another playoff team.
Here we go.
In this conversation. I've said ad nauseum over the last year, all I wanted was 6 wins. I got 9 wins, and I got a playoff win against Fugazi division winner, but we got a playoff win. So I've seen the marked improvement that I needed to see. Now it has to be sustained. We all love Brian Dable and all that. He's shown to be a good coach, but I caution all Giants fans. We said the same thing about Ben McAdoo in 2016, and that went real left, real fast. So I'm tempering expectations on that front. All I want to see as far as a true wish on my end is figuring out a way to either keep Daniel Jones or move on from him. But make sure that you re-sign Saquon. Saquon's got to get his money first. You franchise tag Daniel Jones, and you figure it out from there. Because they've started to figure things out. And while, 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions is not really the mark of a high-quality starting quarterback, it did enough to get us 9 wins. Really should have been 10, but that tie was what it was.
Okay. Hey, cheers to that. Cheers to
Can
that.
you get the man some wide receivers?
Yeah.
He might throw more than 15 touchdowns if he had some.
Give him a couple of weapons, somebody, because that was the biggest downfall for them is who the hell is he throwing the ball to realistically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully Saquon stays healthy.
Yes.
Yeah. I was struggling with my Broncos on this one. I was like, I have a lot of wishes. I have a lot. The main wish is for a certain player to come back, but he's not going to do it. I'm not going to do that to you, Gary. I said I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Then move on.
Hey, sir, it's my time.
I saw that put my head down because I knew the path we were getting ready to go down.
Sir, it's all good, guys. No, my wish is for either Vance Joseph or Rex Ryan not to be our defensive coordinators. That's my wish. Because Vance Joseph, the defense hasn't been a top 20 defense back in Arizona. And Rex Ryan, no thanks. Ben.
Yeah, so I guess we got out of 6, we got 3 playoff teams. Although Dallas hasn't done anything in the playoffs since I was 9 years old. But they did make the playoffs and lose like they usually do. But they got some decisions to make. Honestly, my top 2 were 2 veterans that they're probably going to re-sign and restructure that I don't want them to. Tyron Smith not Tyler Smith. They drafted Tyler Smith. Tyron Smith, 5 years ago, for maybe a solid 3 years, who's the best left tackle in the league. I don't think anybody could deny that. But he can't stay healthy now. He just can't. He missed, like 14 games this year. And he's missed at least 4 games, 4 years in a row. I do not want a restructured deal that just pushes money down the road and hurts your cap 2-3 years from now. And the same for Mr. Ezekiel Elliott. Running backs who are on a decline don't then go back up. And he's been on a decline for 3 years. And so, Zeke, you got to move on. And I know I've said more than one, but they got 2 extensions they got to do as well. They got to extend CeeDee Lamb, and you're going to laugh, but they got to extend Dak. Cap purposes.
And Marissa, Rachel, and Dave, I want to ask you guys this specifically. Does Zeke Elliott kind of remind you of David Johnson when he had maybe 2 or 3 good solid seasons and the rest has been a little bit of a decline, Marissa?
Yeah, the entire running back position has changed dramatically in the last 10 to 12 years where everybody used to need a bell cow running back that would run the ball like Derrick Henry 400 or 500 times a year, but then they disappear. Derrick Henry might be the only one that's back for more every year, but Zeke Elliott
he's been on the decline too. Yeah, Henry.
Just the way the NFL is nowadays, at least the Dallas Cowboys did that part right, where they got 2 really good running backs and they can alternate back and forth because you have Zeke when you need the 1-yard touchdown and you have Pollard when you need to get the catches out of the backfield and the 8-yard spurts. You're moving to the detriment of fantasy football. You're moving more and more and more to that model. So, the Dolphins did it last year with Mostert and Wilson. They went back and forth, and they even started the year with Chase Edmonds as their running back, and it didn't work out. So a lot of teams are going to the multi-running back situation, which is what Dallas has.
Yeah. Marissa, Rachel.
And they have no choice about it, too. It's unfortunate right now, and my dear husband is behind me that is a Dallas Cowboys fan. I hate to say it, but I agree 100% with David. The running back situation, especially with Ezekiel Elliott, I'm trying to think of 5 good moments from the past few seasons that he has made an impact, besides jumping into the Salvation Army kettle. I'll wait.
Yeah,
I can't. I can't think of anything else. The unfortunate thing is his off the field issues have been a headliner more so than him making plays on the field.
Yeah, facts. Rachel, your thoughts?
First of all, there will be no Ohio State player slander. First and foremost.
Hey,
go Blue.
I am an alumnus. Really, Marissa? Are you really gonna do that to me right now? For real? You got to remember, too, that Ezekiel Elliott is aging, too, as well. He's not 30 yet, but, the time for the running backs, they hit their late 20s and things like that. They start to slow down and they start to not be a hot commodity. So, he still has that production, but not that production he had when he first came into the league. I think, he could still be serviceable for the Dallas Cowboys, but, he definitely isn't your featured back anymore or anything like that.
Yeah, Rachel, you're not alone with Ohio State. I've been a fan since 2003, since they won the national championship with Maurice Claret. So I'm on your side. Marissa, that'll be the only thing we might have a disagreement on. But, hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
You guys know if they replayed that national title game 100 times, Miami would win it 99, right?
Oh, but, hey, all it matters is that one
here
time.
We go.
Sorry, wrong crowd for that one. My bad.
It was pass interference, David. It was.
Okay.
I'm glad that you guys
if called within the first 5 minutes of the play, it might have been pass interference.
I'm glad that you guys put all your eggs in that Ryan Day basket. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, hey, I love it. I love the rant. I love all this, Marissa. I'm gonna have a field day with you once when this college football season starts. I'm gonna have a field day. But David, man, since you're just wanting to share the passion, man, let's talk about some of these Eastern Conference teams: Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers. As you know, Giannis has that wrist injury, and I think that kind of alters the placement of whatever you want to call it. I don't really particularly care for the Bucks, but Giannis, I think, is one of the best players in the league. So
you skipped ahead, sir.
Well,
No, go ahead.
It'll
Be
fine. It'll be fine. I'll get right back to it. You okay, Ben?
I'm doing great.
You okay? Okay. It's like no. Yeah. So these Celtics, man, Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, this Eastern Conference, man. What are you feeling about these three teams, man? Talk to me.
I mean, the Celtics are the best team in the East. They might be the best team in basketball. You saw them take the Warriors to Game 6 last year, and for all intents and purposes, they could have won that series last year, although the Warriors were the better team. I thought Milwaukee could hang with them if Giannis is healthy. He may come back healthy, and see if that series is in Boston. It'll probably go Boston's favor. I don't believe in the 76ers process, plan, whatever you want to call it. They've proven absolutely nothing over the last decade of having all of these good players and good coaches. And until they can figure that out, I mean, Doc Rivers is one as much as I have out there. So not really believing in the Sixers. And I wouldn't count out, I know those are the big three, and they deservingly are the big three. Never count out Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. I don't think they're good enough this year. You saw them lose to Boston in 7 games last year and then make the finals the year before. Always a threat when they're in the playoffs. I think it'll depend on who they're matched up against. But, Jimmy Butler's a year older. Kyle Lowry's a year older and, 50 pounds bigger. I just don't know if they can get the most out of them this year. Signing Kevin Love could help. I just wouldn't count them out. I don't think they'll come out of the East. I think Boston is prohibitive favorite and should be. And I would rank them Boston right now, Philadelphia, Milwaukee. But if Giannis comes back healthy, I would put them right up there with Boston, because with him healthy, you can't stop him. If that guy's going to score 50 a game, they're going to win. But you saw what happened last year, and Boston was the best team in the East. I would suspect that to happen again.
Yeah, and I've said, and
Marissa,
before you go, I would say that this season is all about if they're healthy. It's all about health.
It is. We saw a lot of that struggle in the All-Star game. How many of the All-Stars that were voted in played? How many could have played? You had the captains of the teams that couldn't even finish the game. I mean, one was already injured, which was Giannis, and LeBron, unfortunately, when he was going for that dunk, aka the MVP status and title, he hurt his his pinky finger and his ring finger, and so he was out. So, but I think that, and then again, agreeing with David, I mean, the Sixers are right now going from trust the process to trust what process. I mean, it's a mixed bag right now with that team. The Celtics, I mean, Coach Mazzulla is no longer the interim. He's now the coach, and Dime Udoka, who, the only thing that I have in that small gripe of it, and they'll turn into a positive that I'll say about this, is that it should have never been an indefinite suspension with them. The Celtics should have handled it better, and they should have moved on with it and then gave the keys fully 100% to Coach Mazzulla, because I feel that he has changed the culture and has shifted the minds of every single one of those talented players on that team. With that being said, I wholeheartedly agree the Celtics are a force in the team to be reckoned with. We will see them, I believe, and I said it last year when they unfortunately had lost in the NBA Finals. We will see them back in the NBA Finals this year.
Okay. And, Homeboy's 34 years old. I'm only 33. I question the choices that I've made in life. I mean, the man is a head coach at 34 years old.
The team is buying what he's selling. They're dialed in.
I feel triggered. I'm 34. What are you trying to say?
I mean, Gary, I'm just saying. I mean, what are we doing with our lives? I mean, I thought the same thing with Sean McVay was like 33 or 34 as a head coach. I'm just saying I need to make some better life choices myself. But hey, I digress. Rachel.
Yeah, we just got to know better people. That's what it comes down to, is who you know. and stuff like that, because all these sports are a click, and you lift your people up as you begin to ascend. But I pretty much agree with David and Marissa about the Boston Celtics, being the team to beat. It looks like they picked up right where they left off. I don't really think that scandal affected the players, Nia Long, more than anybody. But that scandal didn't affect the players, especially on the court. The Cleveland Cavaliers, I believe, have a 2-0 record against them. They beat them in 2 overtime games. So I don't, I look at that as a great gauge for the Cavaliers, but they still have a game against them left in Boston. They still have a game against them left in Cleveland. So I look at teams like that as a gauge about where these Cleveland Cavaliers are. So they've been able to knock them off twice in overtime. I don't know how those games are going to go after that. But I believe, Jason Tatum, just watching him in that All-Star game, I think he's ready to get some get back from last year against Golden State. So I think it'll be interesting, but I think that the Celtics are going to be the team to beat. Right behind them is Milwaukee. We know, of course, with Giannis, he can pretty much get whatever he wants down in the low block, and he's also developed his shooting as well. So I think, depending on the health of his cast around him, what they'll be able to do. So far, the Cleveland Cavaliers finished their season against them, and I think they went 2-2 against the Milwaukee Bucks. And then lastly, the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers just played them going into the All-Star break. Sorry, I keep talking about the Cavs, but I love it.
It's all good. Hey, it's all good. Hey, all respect to your Cavs. Here's what I would say, though.
Cavs is that squad.
Yeah, but listen, I'm going to say this. The Milwaukee concerns me because they haven't proven that they could win a championship without Chris Middleton's production. Mm-hmm. I'd always question about Chris Middleton before they won the championship, but then I've become a big fan of his. I don't think they're really going to go anywhere without Chris Middleton because I think he's that legit number 2 guy. Jrue Holiday is very good, but for him to be that number 2 guy, I don't think so much. But I will give credit to your Cleveland Cavaliers, Rachel. I think that they're a sleeper to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals because I'm not convinced about Philly with James Harden's play. I'm just not. The man is averaging about 12 points a game in the playoffs the last 2 seasons, and they have the length, and they have homeboy. They have Spider now, and I think them having that additional score. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying they have that additional score now. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a deep run and made it to the conference finals. I'm not putting on the board.
I agree.
I appreciate that. One of the things about Philly, though, is that Joel Embiid and James Harden are just officiated differently. You know what I'm saying? So Joel Embiid can get whatever he wants inside, and everything is, a foul when you touch him, when you blow near him. And James Harden, he knows how to draw fouls. And, it's just like, things that you can let go. They always call for those 2 players, and I never really seen anything like it, So I think that Philly, has the tools to, continue to be in that 3rd slot. But I don't know how that could shake up, because they could easily flip-flop with the Cleveland Cavaliers as well, because going into that matchup, I believe they were just a game below. And at times in that game, Cleveland was down by 30 points, and they came back to lose it by 4. So if Cleveland had played better, they might have been able to win that game because they were having a win streak.
And facts, and Gary, you and I, we've talked about this, and Ben, we talked about this, man. Do we really trust James Harden in the playoffs based on the sample size the last 3 seasons?
Hell no. Why would you? Why would you? I haven't trusted him since Houston. If we're being completely honest about this, like, there's nothing about his, and even in Houston, like, peak James Harden. Peak James Harden died Game 7 of the 2018 Western Conference Finals when that Rockets team as a team went 7 for 44 from 3 against the Warriors. At that moment, James Harden, as the peak player that he was, died. That was it. So, like, no, I don't trust him. I feel bad for Joel Embiid because now he's actually healthy, like healthy-ish, but he's like playing at a high level, and it's going to be for nothing. And at some point, he's going to leave. He's going to have to go someplace else if he's going to want to win. And that's a shame because that team should be further along than what it is. this process has been 7 years at this point. I produced 2 children in the time between that. Like, no, like it's time. It's time. It's either, it's put up or shut up with them. And, regarding the question between the Celtics, Bucks, and 76ers, like the Celtics, yes, they are clearly the team to beat. Milwaukee, if they could stay healthy as a collective, then maybe, but it's Boston and then it's everybody else. And, at least the Western Conference is giving us a bit more parity.
And Ben, and we've even talked about it with Robert Williams. Robert Williams is pivotal to what they do defensively. Rim protection, defense, giving them second chance opportunities. I know, like we said, Marissa, we agree. Like it's the season of can they stay healthy? But Ben, talk to me.
Yeah. So Celtics, Joe Mazzulla, I'm gonna give him a quick shout out. Went to Hendricken Private School in Warwick, Rhode Island, where I grew up. So quick shout out. He's doing a hell of a job. I know he's got the same roster as last year mostly, but never been a head coach, so he's doing a good job. Celtics are number 2 in points scored per game on offense, number 5 in points allowed per game, and number 1 in point differential. I don't know. Do we need to say anything else to establish how great they've been? 76ers, and I'm actually going to circle back to the Cavs, Rachel. You're probably going to like this. So, first off, for the 76ers, you got Joel Embiid and James Harden, who fade in the playoffs consistently. And James Harden's probably started, I don't have the year, but the year that Kawhi Leonard was the best defender in the league, which he was for probably 2 or 3 years, but it was Game 6 in Houston against the Spurs, and Kawhi didn't play, and Harden had like 11 points. That was the first playoff choke job, at least from memory, because in Oklahoma City, they went to the finals, and then he got traded. So Oklahoma City, he was fine.
In the finals, though, too.
I mean, come on, they were a young squad, man. They had no chance. But
we should have known.
They had no chance. But back to the Cavs and 76ers. So right now, 76ers have a 2-game lead for the 3 seed over the Cavs. The rest of the season, hardest remaining schedule in the NBA, 76ers. 5th easiest in the NBA, Cleveland Cavaliers. So, and why that is important is, obviously if the 4 seed wins and the 1 seed wins as normal, the 4 seed plays the 1 in the conference semis, whereas the 3 seed, if they make it, they won't play the 1 seed to the conference finals. So that 3 and 4 seed does matter.
Okay. Facts. Hey, facts. Gary, 30 seconds.
No, I just need to go back to Ime Udoka real quick. How you fumble knee along? Like, I know this is a conversation for another time, probably off topic, probably, off the record, but like, how do you fumble knee along like that? Like, why? Ruin this woman's life out here, and for what? Now you ain't coaching. Look at you. Like, why?
He didn't ruin her life. She turned everything around and has a successful show, looking better than ever.
But publicly, like that humiliation, like that was rough. And like, just we all can say it collectively. It was like, no, we were all on Team Nia on this one, and just
it's my cousin.
No, I'm sorry, no, Ime's on my list at this point. Sorry.
Did you say that's your cousin?
That's my cousin. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
He's joking. He's piggybacking off the last name. He's saying the last name. That's why. Man, don't be gullible like that.
I wish.
Come on now.
Now, David, we got to talk about these Denver McNuggets here. Are we a believer in the Denver McNuggets? I mean, do we believe? Can they achieve? Do we believe they can achieve? Talk to me.
I do. I think they have the best player in the NBA on their team. They have a solid front court, and I think as long as he's healthy, again, back to the word healthy, I threw some Skittles money on Denver a few weeks ago at 9-1 to win the West, and I think they can do it. I think I know the Suns got stronger if Durant's healthy. Mm-hmm. I know the Lakers allegedly got stronger, but at the end of the day, I think the Nuggets right now are the best team in the West, and they just got to prove it in the playoffs, which they haven't been able to do. And there's Memphis and somehow Sacramento and other teams involved. The Clippers just got better allegedly with Westbrook. Maybe they got worse. I don't know. But I think Denver. I like Denver. I put some money on them, and I think they're good to go.
Okay.
Notice you
the
said,
big,
I was going to say,
ahead,
notice
Melissa.
you said you like Denver. You don't love Denver.
I
You know what I'm
don't love
saying?
that,
Because
but
they're not a big flashy team.
They're
They're
not, and they
a
haven't done it
quiet
before.
41-12 or 41-13, but they're doing the job. But they're just not out there being the big, on a big marquee. Like, oh, everybody come and watch the Denver Nuggets. No one is getting excited about them, but they're doing the job. They have the talent on.
The NBA's always been about like you've been there before, and Denver hasn't been. They haven't been there before, and every team has to get over the hump. Milwaukee got over the hump, and they finally won one after But every one of these NBA teams that eventually got over the hump suffered two or even Jordan back in the day. They couldn't beat Detroit.
Yeah.
They had to get over the hump. Lakers had to get over the hump. Celtics got to get over the hump. And Cleveland had to get over the hump. And now Denver needs to get over the hump. Phoenix did it a couple of years ago and got to the finals before losing. And I think Denver has a capability. They've had multiple years of playoff disappointment where I think they're set up now for a run, but there's so much firepower out there. You have no idea how Durant's going to play in Phoenix. I mean, if he's healthy, that team's a monster. So I think, but they're also a 500 team right now. They're not a 41-15 team like Denver. And Denver's rolling along. They're going to have the MVP on their team again, but he's got to do it in the postseason.
I'll tell you what, Joker is a Hall of Famer, no doubt, but he's definitely cemented himself as a first ballot Hall of Famer if he wins 3 straight MVPs. Ben, I'm not sure if there's been any other person to win 3 straight MVPs, but if he does it, it'd be something. Marissa, talk to me.
I'll say.
But listen, Jeff, would it be exciting though that he won his 3rd straight MVP and doesn't have that NBA title? You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's great that he had the back-to-back and how he has carried Denver as far as he can. And I agree with David that they haven't gone over the hump. Right now, they're stuck in neutral, getting ready to turn right to where it possibly could happen. Just they can't get out of that gear shift of N, and they're just there. And I think, unfortunately, and yes, they can make a run in the postseason. I don't know if it's going to be where they get to the NBA championship, and if they do, whoever they're going to play, I just think that they're going to get swallowed up in the East.
All right. Ben, did you know real quick before Rachel? Did you know if anyone's won 3 straight?
Yeah, I'm gonna save it to the end.
Okay,
I
sounds
do know
good.
the answer though.
All right, sounds good. First Lady of Sports, talk.
Am I a believer in the Denver Nuggets? They widened their lead over Memphis, and Memphis was leading the Western Conference Final until not the Western Conference Final, but the Western Conference until they went on a losing streak. So not tomorrow, but the 23rd, the Nuggets come into Cleveland and play the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I said I'd have a little bit of a better gauge, I think, of the Denver Nuggets and what they can do. I believe that Cleveland played in Denver and we lost to Denver, but this is coming out of All-Star is the important thing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But do I think the Nuggets could hold on? Possibly. I think it's interesting to see what the Suns are going to do with the addition of Kevin Durant. Could they possibly make up some games in the Western Conference? I don't know. But, right now, I'll say the Denver Nuggets could be the team that could run away with it. But in the West, you got a couple teams that's just a few games apart, right? They're all neck and neck. So I think it'll be interesting, but I definitely want to see what Kevin Durant can do for Phoenix. Could they possibly catch the Nuggets at all?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it'll be interesting to see how he comes back after that injury. Ben, you got 30 seconds.
All right. So the Nuggets started 14-10. They went from 14-10 to 33-13. So 22 games, they went 19-3. Pretty good. So, not too bad. They have 4 players averaging 16 points or more per game, and they have 7 averaging 10 or more per game. And they have 4 averaging 1 steal or more per game. So depth is not an issue for them.
But we also know the style of play with the playoffs, though, is so drastically different. The level of intensity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's more half-court offense. It's not necessarily running up and down the court, which I feel the Nuggets are very good at, more of a transition team versus a half-court type of offense. But I digress. Gary?
As we were sitting there and listening to everybody talk about this Denver Nuggets team reminds me a lot of the Rockets teams from the mid-'90s. Like, where I look at, Jokic as the modern day Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, he's able to score from outside paint. He can beat you in the paint. He passes. He rebounds. Like, he's the total package for a big man, and that is something that is kind of a throwback. And the last really good big, like, yes, we had Shaq, but Shaq wasn't throwing these assists like this. Shaq wasn't a dimer the way that Jokic is. And also at the same time, like, Jokic is like weird mix, and maybe this might be an older reference, but he's what Arvydas Sabonis should have been had Arvydas Sabonis come into the NBA back when he was in his prime. He's basically modeled his game after him, and that's what we're seeing now. And, for those reasons, I do believe in Denver because, they've done the most damage at this point to the season in the West. And I think they're going to be that team. Like, they're going to be the number one seed because the rest of that conference is a huge mess and it's a jumble. And you never know. Like, I just see them as the one constant. And I think that we talked about this in football with the Bills. If not now, when? Because Phoenix, you keep Kevin Durant, they're going to be better. The Lakers are going to try to figure this out at some point. The Clippers are going to try to figure this out at some point. Memphis is going to figure it out. And, oh, by the way, the Warriors are the defending champions. So, like, you have to strike while the iron's hot. And Denver, the iron's hot right now.
And speaking of iron hot, Rachel, I just want to throw a quick curveball because I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't throw a curveball, right? Like Eric Cole, we're going to win the World Series this year. But, like, Lakers, is it too late? Is it too late for the Lakers? Just real quick, I just got to know y'all's thoughts. Just high level, 30 seconds. I'm just the Lakers. Can they make it to the playoffs? I just got to know y'all's thoughts.
I don't think that the Lakers will be able to make it to the playoffs. LeBron is not chasing titles at this point in his career anymore. He's chasing the most points ever. So I think he realized he can't get it done. And I don't think Anthony Davis is the best teammate, and it doesn't seem like he wants to get it done. And he's constantly hurt as well. So that would be interesting to see what happens with the Lakers. But I don't think that they're going to make it to the playoffs. If they do, we can come back to this take and say it was a bad take.
Okay, facts. Mercy.
No, that's 100% agreeable take, Rachel. They're done. They're done. Stick a fork in that unibrow because it's not going to be happening afterwards. I agree. I mean, we saw the body language when LeBron broke the all-scoring record of Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
we saw it, and I made a pre-recorded video of how to celebrate all that, and then you didn't match that energy when it actually happened. Pick one. You know what I mean? So no, the Lakers will not make the postseason. They're done.
And he said, quote, "It was because we were losing the game." Okay, buddy. Okay. David, Lakers.
It depends on your definition of playoffs. Top 8, play-in games, 9, 10. What's your definition?
No, I'm saying the play-in. I mean, at this point, they make a top 6.
They're 2 games out of the 10 seed, 3 games out of the 7 seed. Do I think they can make it? Yes. Will they? I think I'm in agreement here. They probably won't. You still have Utah and Portland ahead of them, so it's not like there's bad teams ahead of them. It does stun me that there's only 2 teams in the West that have a worse record than the Los Angeles Lakers, and there are 2 worst teams in basketball in the Spurs and the Rockets. That's just, quite frankly, embarrassing. Are we still going to do bold predictions? Because I have my bold prediction deals with the Lakers. If we're still doing that.
Okay, yeah, well, hold on. Yeah, we'll wait for that. We'll wait.
That's where I was headed with that.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't think they're going to go far, but I'll save the rest of it for later.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we're going to go bold takes right before Gary's gripes. So we're doing them.
Go ahead. That's good. Ben?
Lakers. There's a lot of teams in the West that are better than them. It's just what it is. Like, what realistically, even healthy on paper, what are they, the 5th best team? They ain't making it anywhere. Like, it doesn't really matter.
It'd be facts.
If they got Kyrie and they had Kyrie, LeBron, and Anthony Davis healthy, which is a big if because they're all hurt. But if they got Kyrie.
No more Anthony Davis. Okay, real quick. There's no more Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is unreliable. Like I don't even. We always say Anthony Davis. Like the man just
He
Like-
doesn't.
like I
he
said,
doesn't put in the work. He doesn't care.
The wind, like I said, just like Tua with Mr. Concussion, the wind will blow and he'll fall and he'll get injured. I'm just saying. Gary?
So I believe that they can, with the retooling that they did, I think they can catch either the 9 or 10 seed. Will that turn into an actual playoff berth? Probably not. But it'll satiate Laker fans enough that we at least got that far back into it. Because as we pointed out, as David pointed out, the 2 teams below them are the 2 worst teams in the NBA. But you look at the rest of the West, outside of likely Phoenix, probably Dallas, and definitely Denver. Who else is a world beater in that conference? Like, there's enough teams there that can have a losing streak long enough, and the Lakers can have a winning streak long enough where they can make a movement up. Are they going to be a 6 seed? Absolutely not. But play-in is not out the realm of possibility. I just don't know how far they go beyond that.
Hey, facts. No lie. Lakers fan, I mean, I'm just like, yo, Anthony Davis has got to go, man. Put him in a trade before I was fighting it. But hey, it is what it is. Ben, Phoenix Suns, Clippers, and Grizzlies, man. Just say that ever since John Moran said that I'll take the West, they've just been kind of on a kind of down. I don't really like them too much. There's just something about them. I'm just not really feeling them. But these Phoenix Suns, man, it's all dependent on if they can all stay healthy. There's a lot that they gave up for this team. So to me, it's championship or bust when you have Kevin Durant and you gave up Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and all those draft picks. I really like Mikal Bridges, but talk to me about it.
Yeah, so Phoenix Suns, it is absolutely huge for Chris Paul and Kevin Durant to win. And here's why Kevin Durant, even though he has 2 rings already, we know he's first ballot Hall of Famer. We know he has 2 finals MVPs. He has 2 rings. But no matter what, it's going to go down in his legacy that he chose to play, number 1, chose to play with Kyrie Irving over Steph Curry. Number 2, if he never wins another title, facts are going to be facts. He'll have 2 rings, and they were when he was on the Warriors with Clay, Curry, and Draymond, when they had literally 4 of the best 15 players in the league on one team. Like, come on now. And so I will say this, between the 4 being Ayton, Booker, Paul, and KD, Chris Paul and KD, as long as 3 of them are healthy, but 2 of the 3 have to be Paul and KD. But if you give me Paul and KD and Ayton, or Paul and KD and Booker, I still think they can make the finals with 3 out of the 4. But the 2 out of the 3 got to be KD and Paul. So that's where I'm at with the Suns. They got a lot of pressure and a lot of health concerns. Chris Paul seems to get hurt at the worst time all the time. Clippers, real quick. Kawhi and Paul George. Kawhi said, I'm not coming here unless you get me Paul George. They gave up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a bunch of first-round picks. And in 3 years, the combination of Kawhi and Paul George have made 1 conference finals. Like, that has been a failure more than the Lakers with Anthony Davis. Because say what you want, after they won a title, the Lakers won a title. Clippers didn't win anything with Kawhi and Paul George. So there's a lot on the line for them. And Memphis, I just wrote down, can they keep the 2 seed? Because Phoenix is only 4 games back. Kings are only 3 games back. So for Memphis, we've touched on it. They got a lot of good players. Obviously, Ja Morant, superstar. But other than Ja, they just got a lot of good players. That you don't win in the NBA with a lot of good. You need at least 2 great. They don't have 2 great.
There you go.
They just don't.
Facts. All right. All good stuff. Marissa?
They need at least 3 great players for Memphis. I'm believing in this team. I really am. We've seen the talent in and out all the time, splashed on SportsCenter and other networks. on John Morant and his capabilities and his abilities. We saw when he went down with an injury last season, tail end towards their playoff run that didn't last long. The other players, as you said, Ben, they're good. They didn't stand out. They're not, great. Can they get to that great? Who's going to take it, that step up from the good to great when the second half of the season begins? It's going to be curious to see. I mean, Memphis is a talented team. Phoenix Suns, you might as well just ask Alexa to cue End of the Road by Boys to Men. Because for Chris Paul, it's a done deal. He's a talent. He will definitely get into the NBA Hall of Fame, but he'll be ringless. They don't see him winning any kind of ring whatsoever with Phoenix. Phoenix will, I think, after he is gone and retired, give him a season or two. Watch what happens. They'll end up being in the NBA Finals and getting a ring that he unfortunately never got.
Marissa, let me ask you a question. If the four are healthy, KD, Paul, Ayton, Booker, you're saying they won't make the finals with the four of them healthy?
Ben, if was a fifth, we all be drunk right now.
Amen.
Well, we're still playing a hypothetical. If they're all healthy, are they making the finals or not? Because you made it seem like you don't think they will. They're all healthy for the whole playoffs. I know we're living in ifs. We're living in hypotheticals.
I can't look at hypotheticals. You know what I mean? Because we're looking at reality right now. Because the second half of the season, these teams are going to play quicker. They're going to play better. They're going to play faster.
Gary's got to say something.
Go ahead, Gary.
Gary, 10 seconds so we can keep this rolling.
You're asking Chris Paul to not get hurt in the playoffs. Ben, that's asking for a lot, sir. Like that has been the case since New Orleans. There's always a Chris Paul injury that's going to derail their plans. It happened with the Clippers. It happened with the Rockets. It happened with the Suns. It's just who Chris Paul is. He's good, but then once you get to May and then the humidity, I don't know, but it just something goes left with him every single time, and it's unfortunate because he's probably one of the top 5 point guards ever. If you give him a championship, and he would definitely be in that category. But without it, he's a good point guard. But hell, there's been a lot of good point guards.
Take Paul off of the back of his jersey and put "handle with care" on the back of his jersey.
Yes.
Okay. Facts. So let's just kind of keep this thing rolling, guys, just for the sake of time. Rachel,
put "fragile" on the back.
Fragile.
Well, I mentioned the Phoenix Suns earlier, so we talked about, how I thought that they might be able to finish. And I think I can easily see them in the Western Conference Finals if all four are healthy. I know Chris Paul has a history of being injured, but hopefully he can possibly, pull through and be healthy, and they can possibly contend, for the Western Conference. I don't know about the Grizzlies. They sing "Whoop That Trick" in between, so I don't really respect that. So we'll see where they end up. But John Morant is he's an incredible player, and if he can get everyone to rally around him, I mean, they're in second place, but can Denver widen this lead a little bit over Memphis at all? And, they are susceptible to losing because they went on a big losing streak as well. And then the Clippers is up, right? They're getting Russell Westbrook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yay. I'm just saying, yay. I mean,
Russell Westbrook? Westbrook?
Yeah, he's not going to do anything to make that team better, but you just hope that you can get the most out of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So, it is what it is with them, but they're in the 4th spot in the Western Conference. So I can see them leaping the Kings, and not because of the play of Russell Westbrook at all.
Okay, we'll see. All right, David, talk to me, buddy, and then Gary.
I'll make it quick. I told you I like Denver from the beginning. I do agree with Marissa that I think John Morant and Memphis is a team that, they made a run 2 years ago. They made a little bit of run last year. They were young. They weren't ready. I think with Denver and Memphis, you have the new young guard ready to take over, and all due respect to the old farts in Phoenix and in LA, I think it's time for the youngsters to take over, whether it's Jokic or John Morant. I think that is the future of the NBA, and the days of, LeBron and KD and Chris Paul and all the other people out west who are, getting Social Security, I think they're done. And I think it's time to move on. It was nice for the Clippers to put those guys together, and Kawhi and Chris Paul and now KD, and you said handle with care. They got to handle with care. They're old. And in today's NBA, you got to be able to sustain 7 games and multiple series. So I think it's Denver and Memphis. They're 1-2 right now, and I think they're going to be 1-2 at the end of the day. And you don't often see upsets in the NBA playoffs. And last year the Warriors were not a top 2 seed, but they were the Golden State Warriors. Everybody knew when healthy they were the best team in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to believe in the Kings just yet. I think the Kings are Memphis from 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Clippers, Suns, Mavs, they all should be better than they are. New Orleans isn't going to do anything until Zion gets the bubble wrap taken off of him as well. So
Right.
I'll go with Denver and Memphis to be your Western Conference title.
Yeah. And Gary, just real quick, Marissa, can you just please say that phrase just for the audience, because that's a funny one, please.
Oh, the NBARP.
Yeah, that-
NBARP. That's pretty much what it is, and it's sponsored by the Phoenix Suns.
I love it. I love it. Gary.
Yeah, Memphis, I think they're due to take a step back. I think they kind of overachieved a little bit last season. I think they arrived a little bit earlier than anticipated, but I do believe that they are probably one more piece away from being like a legitimate title contender and being where David was saying in that, back and forth with them in Denver as far as who's going to reign in the West for the next couple of years. The Clippers, not even as a Laker fan, but just in general, the rule of thumb is you don't trust the Clippers. They've, what have they've shown you what they are. They are who we thought they were, and they've been that way for forever. And you can have Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, and everybody else that was on the All-NBA team in 2014 all you want. But no, I don't trust them. And Phoenix is going to be I think it's going to be a Phoenix-Denver conference finals. I think that will be Chris Paul's last hurrah or last real go around towards anything that resembles a championship.
Yeah, facts. So let's do this one in the order that was stated. So what I want to do is, since we didn't do this, East, who's the winner for the East, who's the winner for the West, and then what is your bold take in that order specifically? David, take the floor, sir.
I'll go Boston, Denver, and Boston wins it all. My bold take, I kind of hinted at it earlier, and doesn't sound as bold as it did in my head earlier before everybody else jumped in and bashed the Lakers to pieces. But I think the Lakers are done. I think that little party is over. I think LeBron's done with the like Rachel had said, he's just throwing points up there now. I don't think he's chasing rings. I think he goes somewhere else next year. They break up the party. AD goes somewhere else, and the Lakers start all over. And the Lakers do this once a decade, and they always win a title somewhere. And they won the one bubble title. But I think that little parade they had in LA for another title, I think that's all they're going to get there. 29 wins isn't going to get done. So my bold prediction is this is the last you've seen of LeBron and AD in LA, and it's embarrassing how bad they are. And I think if LeBron wasn't chasing the record this year and got all that attention, the attention would be on this has got to be, LeBron's got tons of accolades. We all know he's best scorer of all time right now. He's got 4 titles, and you can put an asterisk on almost every single thing he does. But I think we're sorely underestimating how disappointing his era in LA is. They did win the title in the bubble. Give him credit for that. But they beat a 5th seed Miami Heat. Still, they won. To have the talent they have, LeBron, AD, Westbrook, other players in and out, that team didn't make the playoffs. That team is not looking to make some of the best players in basketball, and you can't make the playoffs. Like, we're not talking about losing finals. We're talking about you're not even in the top 10. We had a conversation 20 minutes ago about will the Lakers make the top 10 in the West? No, they're not going to. And I think you got to blow it up. It's embarrassing.
And then I'm going to say this, right before you go. They were lucky that COVID happened, because I genuinely think that the Clippers would have won that title. They were just starting to get healthy. Things were starting to really click for that team. The Lakers got really lucky. I would still count that as a championship.
Yep.
But when you look at the whole totality of that resume, the Lakers run, I really think they should have 2 titles when you're talking about all that talent that they've had over these last couple of years. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Haven't come close. They haven't come close. They won one title.
They haven't. They won one, which is better than those Clippies. But
they also led to Marissa's NBA AARP. Like, they got to rest for 3 months before they went on their run in a bubble with nobody distracting them. I don't think that team wins a title.
Yeah, so. I don't want to be a LeBron. LeBron is one of my favorite players. He's not my favorite player, but I'm just saying we just got to call the facts. But Rachel, take the floor.
I agree a lot with what David said. And the crazy part is, LeBron re-upped for some more of what's going on out in LA when he signed that extension. So, that's his own fault. Cleveland is looking for number 3, and I think he fit in perfectly. But he's locked in LA. So we were supposed to give bold predictions, right?
Yeah. East winner, West winner, and then bold prediction.
East winner, I'm going to go with my Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay.
Boston will probably come out of the East, unfortunately. I think, like you had mentioned earlier, is that they could possibly play in the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on what happens in those brackets as well. Also, Giannis has to be healthy. I don't think that sprained ligament is really going to keep him out or anything like that. So those could possibly be the top 3 teams. But I think Boston will probably come out. I think that they want to avenge last season that loss. And, you see teams like that, they get really focused. And that's what Boston has, because they know that they're capable of winning, because I don't know what Golden State is going to do. But I look at, they're like, the boogeyman is gone. We can probably win a title. Out of the East, out of the West, who do I see coming out of the West? I guess you said the Suns.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, quite possibly, if they can get healthy at the right time, and kind of like baseball, if you can get hot at the right time, they might be able to make some moves. Or the Golden State Warriors, you never know what they're capable of. They're still a championship team. They're out of it right now, but if they play like the Golden State Warriors, they possibly can get into the playoffs and do some damage. Who knows with them? But right now, I guess I see myself with Denver coming out, since they have the lead over everyone, at least 5 games. And then a winner, I think, would be the Boston Celtics. So I think the Boston Celtics are primed and ready to be NBA champions, since it was denied to them last year.
Okay. And I'll say this about the Boston Celtics before we toss it to Marissa. Robert Williams has got to stay healthy, or they're not winning the championship. There's my bold. That's just
that's bold.
Robert Williams. They'll come out the East, but they're not winning the title without Robert Williams. I think he's that important and doesn't always show up on a stat sheet. Marissa?
I agree with Rachel and David. The coming out of the East, hands down, is Boston. And out of the West is Denver. And that's going to be going all the way to 7 games. It's going to be more crucial for Nikola Jokic, if he does win a 3rd NBA MVP, for him to have the hardware on his left hand or right hand, wherever he chooses that ring to match. It has to happen. 3 MVPs and no hardware, I don't know. To me, it matters if you have that ring. But I just think that, the Celtics may come out with it. Jason Tatum will be the MVP. My bold prediction, none of us had brought it up. There was a change in leadership of the coaching sidelines in the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes.
Nate McMillan is gone, possibly going to get Quinn Snyder. I'm rooting for it. I think that he changes the atmosphere. I think he changes the culture there in the locker room, possibly thaws out Trae Young, Ice Trae, and we'll see what happens. Looking forward to what they're going to do, what next moves that the Atlanta Hawks are going to do. But right now, they could possibly, now with Nate McMillan out, we'll just see how the mood changes. But that's a team that we haven't mentioned or tossed around. See how it goes. But, could this interim coach do something amazing with this team where Quinn Snyder, I don't know, would love to come and coach the Detroit Pistons right now with our strong 15 wins and 43 losses?
Okay. Hey. Okay.
I'll take all the help I can get.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll
Shady
see.
Pines
We'll see.
NBA retirement home.
There you go. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with that first overall pick out of Oklahoma State. What's his face? I'm drawing blank on his name. You know what I'm talking about. Do with the afro. I can't remember, but we'll see what happens. He missed the season. You say what?
Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
Cade.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Ben, then Gary to finish off.
So I'm actually going to go. It's definitely a little bit risky given Middleton's injury history and Giannis now being hurt, but something tells me that the Bucks are trying to get revenge against Boston. Obviously, Boston beat him last year. No fault of Giannis. He averaged like 36 points per game in the series. Middleton missed the entire series. It's a little bit risky to take them because of Middleton. Just his knee just does not seem back to normal even a year and a half later. But I'll go with that, and I know that the Celtics are the obvious pick, so I'll go Bucks. And then in the West, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to go with the Suns. Bucks, Suns, in a rematch of whatever it was 2 years ago, Bucks versus Suns.
Yeah, that was a good series.
The Bolts, I'll be very quick with stats, but I did a lot of research on this, so I want to throw them out there. Okay, Nikola Jokic is number 6 in the NBA in field goal percentage per game and 14.9 field goal attempts per game. Everyone above him, 5 above him, all average less than 8 attempts per game, field goal percentage. Number 3 in assists per game. The next power forward or center is like number 20. Most triple doubles in the NBA, 21 for Jokic. Luka has 10. PER, which I don't know the formula, none of us do, player efficiency rating, John Hollinger's stat. Jokic is number 1 right now for the 3rd year straight. And Gary, you addressed it, but the only 3-time winners of the MVP back to back to back, Larry Bird, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. So Jokic could get on that list. And bold number 2, quick. Dallas Mavericks are going to move up to the 3 seed. They have the easiest remaining schedule left. The 3 teams above them, Kings, Clippers, Suns, have the 2nd, the 4th, and the 5th hardest schedule left. Dallas has the easiest. So I'm going to say Dallas moves up to number 3.
Okay. Hey, facts. Gary, finish it off, sir. Take it away. Give us your ball takes, and then you have the 4 for your Gary Scripes, and then we will be done with this show.
Okay, so I'll be very quick with really all of it. I'm going to go Boston, Denver for the finals. I think that's also the finals that you get if you simulate an entire season of NBA 2K. You end up with Boston and Denver, so that'll be fun to watch. Bold take. I believe that one of the 4 play-in teams that are currently sitting in the play-in spots in the West will end up beating Memphis in the first round. I think whether you have Minnesota right now, the 7th seed is New Orleans, 8th Minnesota, 9th Golden State, and 10th Oklahoma City. We're going to remove Oklahoma City from the equation, and let's put the 10th seed as the Lakers, just because I'm a Laker fan. I can do that.
Okay.
I'm saying that of the other 3 teams, the Pelicans, the Wolves, and the Warriors, one of them can beat Memphis in a 7-game series. I don't trust them long-term enough in. I think, like I said before, Memphis is missing something. There's the one X factor that is just, I don't know, missing from them at this point. And they'll get to the next level, but just not yet.
Okay. All right. And then before you go to finish off, we're going to do Gary's Gripes, where Gary just has literally like 90 seconds unfiltered to complain about something that is his. That I got the inspiration from Peter Griffin from Family Guy when Peter Griffin kind of had his grind my gears. So, Gary, sir, take it away.
No, this is going to be real brief. I don't even need 90 seconds. I want to talk about Eric Bieniemy real quick. Like, how do you go from, when you won 54 games, over the course of the last 5 seasons. You have Patrick Mahomes, who's clearly the best quarterback in football. You've run the best offense in football for the last 5 seasons. How do you go from there to Washington? Like, what is this? Like, and it speaks to why he can't get a head coaching position. They're talking about, he can't interview, or he doesn't interview well. I'm like, I interviewed terribly for my current job and still got it. I just want to point that out. So you tell me how Eric Bieniemy's resume doesn't, precede him, and you don't look at that and go, okay, maybe he can be a head coach. There are a lot of NFL head coaches that should have been passed over at this point, and the fact of the matter is that Bieniemy has to take that step, a lateral. I can't even call it lateral. It might be like a half step backwards, and try to make whoever in Washington become a viable quarterback, so that maybe one day when Ron Rivera rides off into the sunset, he might be a head coach. It's BS. We have to address this issue long term. I don't know how to start it. I don't know where it needs to go. Maybe we need a black owner in the NFL. That seems to be where we're heading, or where the conversation keeps heading. But that's the problem. Something is not right when you have somebody like an Eric Bieniemy, who's clearly the best offensive mind in football right now, and he has to make such a lateral and half step back move.
And Gary, and the only thing I'm going to say with that is everyone says, well, he didn't call plays. I'm like, Nathaniel Hackett can't hack it, didn't call plays and got a head coaching job. You have all these other guys who were special teams assistants and all that and got head coaching jobs. I don't want to hear anything about, he needs to call plays. I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
I know we said we were going to give it to Gary, but I'll be very brief.
No, I spoke my piece, so please feed it.
It is, and I can say it, and it's true, and I don't really care what anybody says. It's white privilege. White owners hiring white people because that's what they're used to. And let's not forget, the owners are not 30 years old. They're like 60, 70. So they've been used to this, I work with white people idea for 30, 40 years.
I mean, and your team owner's 110 years old. So, yeah.
I mean, you saw that Jerry Jones photo of him in Arkansas.
Like
in the 50s.
It just walks like a duck.
We don't want to make it completely about white and black. We're not saying a black coach should get hired just because he's black. Like, nobody get it twisted. But we're pointing out there's inequality, and there's no other way to say it. It's inequality. That's what it is.
Yes.
Going to really quick, Jeff and I didn't want to interrupt, but tagging on to the rest of what Gary said. Did anybody see that picture of Bieniemy signing the contract, but making sure that it was present in that photo was that championship Super Bowl ring from Kansas City?
Yep. He's going to be the head coach for. He's going to be the maybe we'll see what happens.
He's going to be the head coach. Yeah.
There's no reason why he would have taken that. But
exactly. He got a wink deal. Once we fire Rivera, you're the head coach.
There it is. Exactly.
I really hope so, because otherwise, what the hell?
But guys, it was a great 1 year special. We went over a little bit of time, but hey, it's all good. Ms. Rachel, First Lady of Sports. We want to give you the floor to let people know what you got going on. We like to show people the love back. You want to tell everyone what you got going on in the sports verses and all that?
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it first and foremost, and congratulations on the 1 year anniversary. I can be heard on WOVU 95.9 FM in Cleveland, Ohio, and WOVU.org. And my show is called Her in the Huddle. It's Mondays and Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Also, too, I work for MLB Bro. You guys know who Ron Parker is, right? Rob Parker, right?
Rob Parker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rob Parker. So this is the brainchild of Rob Parker, and we cover black and brown baseball players. So that website is MLB Bro, and we push out a lot of great content. We're going to be pushing out some more stuff. We're very excited for the season. So baseball is my favorite sport, so I'm definitely very excited. So catch my work on MLBBro.com as well.
Okay, I know that.
And I'm not really active on Twitter, so but Twitter and Instagram, I'm one ST Lady of Sports, and then on regular Facebook, I'm Rachel L. Hill.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you for joining. And again, Marissa, you have the Heard That podcast. She also has some other things going on, but of course, we still got to give you just another shout out for what it is that you're doing outside of DTS, because you have a whole nother life outside of this spiel. Go ahead.
Yes, I do. Besides podcasting, my passion is the community. So my heart and soul is Minnie's Food Pantry, which I do. I'm a proud employee there, serving to the community, those that are in need of food. It is community based, and I've been there for 8 years, been a staff member for 3. And to see people come from all walks of life everywhere in the state of Texas, out of the state of Texas, to make sure that they don't have to worry about where their next meal comes from, it just brings a smile to my face more than anything. Anything that I could think that is joyous. Someone's need, someone's family is getting taken care of. And so I am pretty much a servant to the community. I love giving back. I love being involved in nonprofit organizations outside the microphone. And so that's what I love doing. And that's my passion. That's my heart. So I enjoy it. I'm there 5 days a week. And it just continues to reach and touch those and inspire those that it doesn't have to be here, that they come all the way from where they're at. They can start looking around in their community and make an impact in their community right where they're at. So that's my hope and my passion.
You might do that 5 days a week, but now you got us one night a week. So
I'm quite excited about that. And, next week is my big birthday. Next Sunday, I turn a big 50. So I'm quite excited about that.
Hey, okay.
Happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
early birthday. All right, folks. Again, thank you to Ms. Rachel, First Lady of Sports, Marissa, for hopping on again. Can't wait to see what you do in the future and all your future endeavors. Gary the Legend Johnson, Ben Holloway. Hopefully your Cowboys don't give you a heart attack next year. And hopefully my Broncos, I don't continue to lose my hair.
If the Cowboys were going to give me a heart attack, don't you think it would have happened about 20 years ago?
Hey, I don't know. That's why I don't have any hair, because of my Broncos ever since Peyton Manning left. But hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. But hey, guys, to all of our fans, thank you for all the support, all these last 71 episodes. It's been a great 1 year. Anniversary year 2 is going to be something fantastic. Y'all watch out. And as always, Hail Von Miller.